Hi and welcome back to This Week in Biotech weekly video summaries. Today we cover biotech and pharma news from May 23rd to 29th, 2025. So we're starting with gene therapy safety concerns. This past week was tough for companies in the gene medicine space. Intellia Therapeutics reported a liver toxicity case in its in vivo CRISPR trial, which is a gene editing therapy developed with Regeneron for a rare disease called ATTR. The patient is now thankfully asymptomatic, but the stock plummeted anyways. And I think this is also partially because just days earlier, Rocket Pharma halted its clinical trial after they reported a tragic death of a patient in a AAV gene therapy program for Danon disease. The FDA placed the trial on a hold, and I think there is a little bit of a ripple effect spreading to other companies as well. I think investors might be a little bit spooked. CRISPR and gene therapies, they're powerful, but they can still carry serious side effects. So I have a video on my YouTube channel where I cover gene editing and CRISPR in more detail. I talk about companies in the space, what they do, but I don't really explain the difference between gene therapy and gene editing, and I think it kind of is a good time to maybe do that now. So Intellia, their treatment is CRISPR-based, so it's gene editing. And Rocket Pharma and the trial that was just halted is gene therapy. So gene therapy adds or replaces a gene, but usually without changing the DNA that's already there. It typically introduces a healthy copy of a gene, and usually this is done using a viral vector. So viral vector is, for example, that AAV that I mentioned earlier. Basically imagine a virus that's empty inside, it's just the shell of a virus, and scientists put in that healthy copy of a gene. And the virus has an affinity for a specific type of cell, for example, liver cells. And so it travels through the body into the liver, and it wants to infect the liver cells. These liver cells may have a faulty gene, and so then they enter the cells and this gene gets placed in instead of that faulty gene. Sometimes patients can actually have an immune reaction to the viral vector itself, which seems to be the case here in this trial that was just halted. Gene editing therapy actually changes the patient existing DNA at a specific location. So it can use tools like CRISPR Cas9 system, which in this case Cas9 is the molecular scissors. They cut the DNA, they can now edit it or repair it, remove or silence the gene of interest, the faulty gene, and maybe put in a new gene. The goal here is to correct or disable a faulty gene within the genome itself, so it makes permanent targeted changes. An example of this is, for example, Casgevy, which I discussed in the video on YouTube, which was developed by CRISPR Therapeutics, and it's for sickle cell disease. So in a major policy shift this week, the CDC under RFK Jr. no longer recommends COVID-19 vaccines for healthy children and pregnant women. The move was framed as a return to common sense, but it's already sparked intense backlash from the medical community. Critics warn that it politicizes vaccine guidance and downplays risks, especially for pregnant women. So pregnant women have altered immune system, and we think this is mainly so that they don't reject the unborn fetus. Their immune system is a little dampened. It can be less likely to fight off infections. And this is well documented in literature, in scientific literature, that pregnant women have significantly higher rates of hospitalizations, preterm births, and even deaths from COVID-19. And this is not just COVID-19, it's other respiratory diseases as well, like flu. Supporters, on the other hand, see it as a long overdue course correction. Either way, it marks a pivotal moment in how federal agencies approach public health and vaccinations. So let's end with encouraging and positive news. This past week, GSK and Spero Therapeutics just nailed their phase 3 trial for carbapenem HBr, which is an oral carbapenem antibiotic targeting complicated UTIs. The results were so strong that the trial was stopped early, and this is because the oral antibiotic was just as strong as the IV antibiotic. If this treatment is approved, it would be the first oral carbapenem available in the United States, which would give patients an alternative to hospital-based IV treatment. So this doesn't introduce a new antibiotics class. It won't solve or help solving antibiotic resistance, but it offers a powerful oral option that can also help reduce unnecessary hospitalizations, lower the risk of IV-related complications, and slow resistance indirectly, but by making it easier to complete full course of treatment. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you next week.